Said 41-year-old Alexander Trofimov raped her 4 times and gave her $100 before she was let go. A local pimp who allegedly received thousands of dollars for introducing the girl to the Russian businessman has been sentenced to 11 years in prison. She's reportedly not the only victim of Trofimov. He was arrested last year on suspicion of abusing up to 19 Cambodian girls. It's believed some of their mothers sold them to Trofimov. Katerina Azarova is following events in Cambodia.
Well, from what we know, 41-year-old Russian businessman Alexander Trofimov has actually been living in Cambodia for the last 3 years. We know he's a businessman who is the CEO of a company that builds various tourist resorts across the country. So he's been heavily investing into the tourism industry here in Cambodia with support from the local government. And he's been doing that for quite some time. But of course, he won't be doing that anymore, as he's been sentenced to at least 13 years in prison. And I say at least because this is the first trial and conviction that Alexander Trofimov has received. However, the allegations is that this was not the only circumstance, this was not the only charge that Alexander Trofimov will be facing. There are almost 20 more charges, and his prison sentence could in fact increase. All of the other girls that are accusing Alexander Trofimov of raping him live in a different place, and the trial will be held there. He faced trial here in the capital for the alleged rape of this one girl, who's a 14-year-old Cambodian resident. She says that Alexander Trofimov raped her 4 times before giving her $100 and setting her free. We don't know whether she or any of the other victims are expected to receive any compensation. It's generally believed that the situation in Cambodia concerning sexual abuse, especially sexual abuse from minors, is quite drastic. And it is generally known that here in Cambodia, the illegal sex tourism industry is blossoming, and a lot of people do come, especially seeking to engage in any sort of sexual activities with minors. This is not the first child abuse case that Cambodia has seen. Many other foreign tourists were in fact convicted, but this case, one man facing 19 charges, actually already being convicted for one, is Cambodia's biggest case of child abuse. And the situation is quite severe, despite the fact that the Cambodian authorities do seem to be attempting to do something about it. On the back of every single tourist map that we've seen in our very brief time here, there's a big poster saying that sex with children is illegal, that it is a crime punishable by law.
And for more on this story, we're now joined live in the studio by journalist Dmitry Kostyrov. Thank you very much for joining us. As we've just heard in that report, Trofimov is facing trial for 19 similar cases. Is he likely to face a prison term for life?
This is likely as one of the possibilities. You see, in Southeast Asian countries, not only in Cambodia, there are 2 top capital crimes. And this is not terrorism, not arms dealing, it is drugs and underage sex. There is death sentence for drugs all over Southeast Asia, uniform death sentence. And yes, you may get a life sentence for participating in trade. Not as a customer maybe, but if you are selling children to customers, then you can get life easily.
Okay, now he's not the first foreigner, as we know. It seems to be quite common in this part of the world. He's arrested for child sex abuse in Cambodia. What are the authorities doing there, and indeed in the whole of the Southeast Asian region?
I can make an observation. I know very well expat colonies, communities in Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, other countries. In fact, I'm almost a part of this, some of these communities. People come there for freedom, for a special lifestyle. There are Russians there are Australians, Europeans, and the people who cannot stand the restricted and tight lifestyle in Europe or in America. So we know that in America there is about 2 million prisoners, cameras, and people want to get out of this kind of society, restricted, and to get a place where they feel free. Southeast Asian governments, what they're trying to do, they're trying to show that yes, the lifestyle there is much more free than in the West, but there are limits to it. And these limits are drugs and child slavery, especially in sex. And that are trying to showcase to these people that they are welcome there. If they want to live there forever, they can live there as long as they like, but don't touch children and don't touch drugs.
You mentioned showcase. I mean, Trofimov says he'll appeal the court's decision. What are the chances of this appeal being upheld? Do you see this as a showcase trial?
Well, unfortunately, normally, such trials, the one which are publicized so widely, almost all of them showcase. The nations of Southeast Asia, in many cases, they cannot enforce law uniformly and universally. And what they can do is is scare off the potential criminals. Therefore, they stage showcase the trials, and in such cases it's very difficult to appeal. But yes, there are mitigating circumstances because this is not a dealer in child sex. He's a customer. Of course, a very, I should say, profusive customer, but still the ladies from the villages were, as I understand it, they were selling children to him. They were willingly offering their children to him, and that can be a mitigating circumstance, maybe.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your insight into this. Journalist Dmitry